It was about 4 years later, and through that 4 years, I developed other products, and I created them for doctors. So doctors were using them. I had some credibility behind the products because they were signing off and saying their patients needed these. They were working for them. Yeah, 7 million is right about where we're at right now.
We did 50,000 meals that day.
Yep.
But how did you get from point A to point B, from struggling with hunger yourself to now feeding 7 million people?
I've got an incredible team, and we've been doing it long enough now that it's just a well-oiled machine. We have a trailer that's the Conquer Hunger trailer, and it just is like a Conquer Hunger event in a box.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Ignition Point. I'm Debbie Hart.
Sean Finnegan. Honored to have Trevor Farnes here with us, the Conquer Code, and he is a co-founder of MTN Ops. And recently, we did a festival together.
Yeah.
That was amazing. And I think how many meals did we pack that day?
It was close to 50,000 meals.
50,000 meals. So
meals
picture,
in one day.
it was a breakthrough event.
Yeah.
All around. But you had a lot of people come in that morning piece to
Yeah.
really help us pack lunches or meals for people.
Yeah.
And so we had tons of volunteers in this assembly line set up under this big tent outdoors and just cranking out these meals.
Yeah.
And then it was really powerful. He literally stood up on the back of a pickup truck and told his story. So honored to have you on the show. And I would actually love to hear why, this is amazing products. And so, what's the advantage of this stuff is it actually tastes good. I hate stuff that tastes bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like like the grainy stuff. This tastes so good, and the bars are so good, and the products are amazing. And so we want to hear about this, but also just the hunger piece and why you do it's a Conquer Hunger also as well, right?
Yeah, it's called Operation Conquer Hunger. Conquer's kind of it's the code for
You're
MTN
seeing
Ops.
a theme here,
The
right?
Conquer Code is the title of my book. Operation Conquer Hunger, Conquer More is kind of our mentality at MTN Ops. And the product ties into what we're doing with Operation Conquer Hunger. It tastes good. You feel the difference. We wanted to make sure we provide a product that people actually can feel and see the difference in their life, and then taste and enjoy it. And so they want to take it again tomorrow and the next day. But every purchase of one of our products at MTN Ops, we provide a meal to a child in need. We're about to hit the 7 millionth meal mark, having been donated through Operation Conquer Hunger. So when we gathered that day for that festival and we packed close to 50,000 meals with about 120, 150 people, and we did that in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Those
Fast and
packets,
furious.
yeah, fast and furious. There's 5 meals in every one of those pantry packs. They go home with kids on the weekend, kids that don't have enough food in the pantry. And here where we're at right now in Davis County, Utah, 1 in 4 kids go home on the weekend without enough food.
Which is
Four?
a shocker, right? Because we think hunger and we picture Africa, we picture some of these third world countries. And that was a surprise to me.
It's a surprise. Where we were doing that event, it went to the Granite School District, and it's 1 in 2. So 50% of the kids.
1 in 2?
But my family was the 1 in 4. That's why it's so close to home. And when we created a business with these supplement products, there's people that, they can supplement for their nutrition, but there's so many families that can't even fathom supplementing for their nutrition. They're looking for their second meal of the day here in the United States, or, around the world, they're looking for a meal a day. And my family went through some times, some struggles and some difficulties where our eyes were open to the need that was around us because we were the need. And now that need for us has become the gift that we're offering. And it's been this incredible system where people are buying supplements to benefit their own life and improve their own life, but then a portion of that goes towards feeding hungry children and families. And for me, it's like, taking those loaves and fishes, we always tie it back. I'm a faith-based individual. Our organization, MTN Ops, is a faith-based organization. And so I look at those miracles where a few loaves and a few fishes were taken. They were multiplied for the masses. And back when my wife and I were going through those struggling times, we made a commitment to each other that we would use whatever loaves and fishes we were given to multiply. And we didn't honestly think it would be for the masses or 7 million meals now. We didn't know if the boat would ever come in full. It didn't feel like it would. It didn't feel like it was in the cards for us. But ultimately, we've now been able to multiply those loaves and fishes to where it's coming back 12 baskets full. And we're just trying to do everything we can to help as many people as possible. So
That's a beautiful message. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you got it.
Well, how did you get, that is so powerful that was your why and why you got started, but how did you get from point A to point B, from struggling with hunger yourself to now feeding 7 million people.
And also maybe tell us more about what does hunger really feel like, because you went through it yourself.
Yeah.
Like where the pantry is bare. What is that?
Yeah.
As a parent, man, the weight of not being able to just give your kids the basic needs and then watching your wife struggle to like, okay, how do we work? And so we had some food storage she would dive into. We cracked our own wheat for a period of time. We thought it'd be for a natural disaster. It ended up being for our personal disaster. And then we'd have groceries dropped off at our doorstep. People that, could see what was going on, but they would just leave them without, I don't know who they were, but on a regular basis. And we'd see that people just fulfilling some of our needs at times from here and there. And that really inspired us to do more ourselves. And honestly, we have a choice in life when we have these perspective moments to see it for what it is, to learn from it and maybe apply it. Going through hunger issues or financial difficulties isn't very uncommon. There's a lot of people that go through that. But I think the way we've responded to it is uncommon. We've taken those perspective moments and we've applied it. But going from where we were and struggling, and it was just a consistent effort over time, and trying to find what would it be that I could truly attach myself to, in that ignition point where it's like, this is the spark. It actually was my father that sparked the idea for the first product. And we had made a commitment as a couple to feed hungry children prior to that. We just needed a vehicle to create the resource for it. And so it started with $22. My wife and I were donating actually to New Skin. And New Skin this last year called us just a month ago and said, could you come and be a part of a Guinness World Record meal packing event? We packed 550,000 meals that day. Whoa. And we had the most people packing meals together in a 24-hour period of time. But the great thing about that was it was 14 years earlier when I made that first, my wife and I, $22 donation through them. They had no idea. When they called us to say, hey, do you want to participate? I said, yes. And you were the ones that inspired this. Like, we made our first donation through you guys, and Mountain Ops donated $100,000 for that event. And we packed these meals together. But my father was he sparked the idea for the first product in the Mountain Ops lineup. It's called Enduro. It originally wasn't called that. Prior to Mountain Ops, I started another supplement brand. It's in its 14th year, selling through doctor's offices for cardiovascular patients. And my dad was the first individual we tested this product on. He had some stents put in his heart, couldn't feel his fingers and toes. And I created a product that would increase blood flow through nitric oxide, a molecule in our body. And he started to see the results after 3 days, kind of tingling sensation in his fingers and toes. He was supposed to have open heart surgery 5 years after the stents went in. Never had to have it. His cardiologist just said, whatever your son's giving you, just keep taking. Unfortunately, my father had a fall down their stairs this last year and broke his neck, and he passed away. But when they resuscitated him, they said his heart is incredibly strong, and then he just didn't survive the fall. But he was my inspiration. We have a history of heart disease in the family, and so I was going to help my father. I was going to help me and my brothers. I was going to help the hundreds or millions of people in America and throughout the world that have cardiovascular issues. And that was kind of the dream and the goal. And then to utilize some of the loaves and fishes that came from that, some resources, not just pat our pockets with it, but do something good and reach out. You're most powerfully positioned to serve the person you once were. So we gained this perspective through what we'd been through. And now we have this, I feel like, a stewardship to do something about it. And that's what we're doing.
You and I have that in common with our dads. My dad also fell.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he had an accident a few years ago, and we lost him because of it. It's just so hard.
It's
especially
abrupt
your dad was
tragic.
That was your initial inspiration.
Yeah, I feel like he's kind of like still with me through this process. Like honestly, in a more unique and different way now. And the story of building this for him now has become so much more, because I'm like, okay, I'm going to carry that forward. He always had Mountain Ops shirts on wherever he went. We had a family photo once and everyone showed up, and I had, for the first time, not a t-shirt. I actually had like a button-up collared shirt. I was looking good. Right. And my dad sat in the middle of the family with that bright orange mark, that logo with a black shirt and bright orange, and everyone else dressed up, and he's sitting in the middle. And I use that photo all the time because he was so proud. And every time I saw him, I was like, look, Trev, look what I'm wearing. And he's like, I'm so proud of what's going on. on and what's going on in the community with what you're doing. So just carrying that forward and knowing that he's cheering us on from the heavenly grandstands, right?
Yeah, amen to that.
That's powerful. So your dad inspired the first product. And how did you move forward from there?
And then moving forward from there and developing into what the MTN Ops brand, it was about 4 years later. And through that 4 years, I developed other products and I created them for doctors. So doctors were using them. I had some credibility behind the products because they were signing off and saying their patients needed these. They were working for them. And then I met some individuals, some of them, that they were really big into the hunting scene and marketing scene. And I had no idea what was going on in the hunting scene. Like I needed some help with marketing. And they told me what they were doing within the hunting and outdoor industry for marketing with brands and such. And I just said, is there a place for supplements in the hunting industry? Their eyes kind of lit up. It was that ignition point for them where they're like, yes, there's a massive hunter athlete movement right now with brands like Under Armour, Yeti, Sitka, but there's no consumable brand leading the way. So I said, well, I've got the products. If you can help me with the branding, let's come together and let's kick this thing off. So in 2014, we just hit our 10-year mark. And the rest is history. This product we have right here is called Ignite. It's our #1 seller. It's a cardiovascular, energy, and cognitive focus mental blend. And the cardiovascular piece of it has the blend I created for my father, that exact like makeup. So you get the cardiovascular benefits and then some energy, and we call it our Brain Ignite blend with nootropics that are a part of it. But
we would be better interviewers if we took this right before our podcasting, right? Like
it kind of goes along with your brand too, with Ignition and Ignite.
Yeah, Ignition, Ignite. Yeah,
so,
that was meant to be.
Yeah.
How many meals have you served now to?
We're about to hit 7 million.
Whoa.
Like literally we have the funds to do that. Sometimes we'll hold events, we'll pack the meals together. Excess funds go to like groups like Feeding America to hit, a nationwide audience. And then we still go through a group at New Skin to help Malawi, Africa. And there on those, they create farms where the people are actually learning how to produce their crop and harvest their crop and then sell it in the community. And so, but yeah, 7 million is right about where we're at right now.
We did 50,000 meals that day.
Yep.
I was shocked at the production level of what your team does. Like they were there early in the morning. They had bins for everything. Literally, you can tell you're professional at packing meals because 120 people and you had just, supplies going into it was just amazing.
I've got an incredible team and we've been doing it long enough now that like it's just a well-oiled machine. We have a trailer that's the Conquer Hunger trailer and it just is like a Conquer Hunger event in a box. Like we take it, we set up. We've now been doing these not just in Utah, but we've done them. We'll go to Hawaii in March. I can't wait for that one. We'll do one there. We've done them in South Carolina and Montana, Idaho, different states. We'll go to California in a couple months. But we have different groups, retail partners and such that'll say, hey, part of the revenue that's coming from our sales in our stores, like Cow Ranch stores or a Sportsman's Warehouse, is going to your Operation Conquer Hunger. Let's do an event together. So we go and we bring all their employees together like we did. Yeah. There's 150 to 200 people. I'll share my little spiel about how this all happened, why it's important for us, the origin stories of it. And then we go to work for like an hour and a half packing anywhere from like, usually at these events, 25 to 50,000 meals. We've done 60,000 in an event. And then with New Skin and the Utah Jazz, we did 550,000.
How often do you do those?
This year, we've done, of those bigger events, we've done about 11 so far.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And then with those sub events up at MTN Ops, we have families that come. We've got assembly lines like you saw set up in our gym that are always there. So we have families that will come in the evenings. We have youth groups and different teams that will come and put on their own little event, and we'll share the video you watched, and then they go to work for packing 1,000 of them.
So you run these Conquer Hunger events in addition to running this hugely successful business and raising a family. How do you balance all of that? What's your advice for entrepreneurs who are trying to get to that level and trying to figure out how to balance it all?
I've never really found a good balance, but what I've found is like when I'm where I'm at, like I'd be, where my feet are, I need to be present. I need to be intentional. So when I'm with my wife and my kids, they have my attention. It's all about time and attention for me. And when at these Conquer Hunger events, I talk about time and attention and an experience that I had. And so, just making sure that I'm scheduling my time appropriately enough to where each of them get my attention, but having a team involved as well, like they carry a massive load. and they have incredible hearts to go out and do this Operation Conquer Hunger. And sometimes they're doing the setup, I'm showing up, I'm speaking, and I'm there packing with them. But we've got a team to do bits and pieces of this. It's interdependence, doing great things collectively that we couldn't do on our own, and that way you can kind of get to each of those areas of life that are important.
Why is faith so important to you? Because I think in this world, a lot of times people don't lead with that. And some people are kind of shun away from talking about, their faith in public and everything else. Why is that so important to you?
Our number one core value at Mountain Ops is recognizing God. And we say that, we try to acknowledge his hand in all things, even in the workplace. And I couldn't look back at my history and take him out of the equation. It just is not, it's not possible. Mm-hmm. He's everything. The Conquer Code, the title of my book, that's Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. Every page of that book, you'll find the Lord again and again and again. It's just, it's been what I've experienced going through life, going through hardships, recognizing that those hardships were for my good. They were teaching me something, and it was his hand. It was his inspiration. It was him guiding me along the way. And so I just can't, I can't go about life without knowing and recognizing there's been a higher power involved in all of this, and especially in bringing the right people into the mix to help me along the way and me to help them along the way. It's just an incredible thing that God does to us, for us through connection. For me, it's you connect and you conquer in life.
Okay, so that's the meaning behind connect. That's beautiful. So what would your advice be for someone who's kind of in that moment right now, going through those hard things?
Yeah, those storms of life, those winds and those waves, sometimes you look at them as just that. They're scary. Can we climb this mountain? But I've often found that, looking back at the winds and the waves that came my way, they were pushing me in the right direction. It wasn't like an interference. And sometimes we just get in our heads so much that this is scary. This shouldn't be happening. Why is it? It's a daily choice. And so I know you love shoes. You've got incredible shoes.
Yeah.
I give my team a pair of shoes when they first start at Mountain Ops. I give them a new pair of shoes to start their journey. Yeah. And I tell them that the choices you make and the shoes you wear today will determine the shoes you wear tomorrow. And that represents responsibilities, opportunities, blessings. But the choices that you make could also remove those responsibilities, opportunities, and blessings. And so I would just say to anyone, today is the day. Today is the sacred present. Make choices in the shoes you wear today that will add additional shoes and strength and blessings to you tomorrow. But in my life, it's been leaning on a strength higher and more powerful than myself to make it through, and to see those winds and those waves as maybe a blessing coming your way from that higher power to point you, to push you, to guide you in the right direction.
I think we've seen it in this podcast that people would look at you, you're fit, you have a successful company, and they're like, has he really been through the hard stuff? And I just think it's so cool that you're willing to be vulnerable. And I was really impressed when you're on the back of that pickup truck talking about some of the hardest things of groceries being dropped off at your front door. Mm-hmm. And it's really inspiring to see what you've been able to do, and specifically with 7 million people that have meals because of your mission. And then also all the people at Mountain Ops and like what you've been able to create for them and their families.
Well, they're the secret sauce. They have a lot of, in so many ways, they've created it for me and my family. I can't, any form of success that I've achieved has come by way of connection to my family. Honestly, the true secret sauce, my wife, a rock star. She is the support. She's the MVP. She's allowed me to do some crazy, stupid things that didn't make a lot of sense, and she just encouraged me along the way. When I felt like a failure, she never would let me feel that way. My team at Mountain Ops, they are the secret sauce. They are the ones that drive the mission forward along with me. But they, the core values and everything that we espouse to, they have those written on their hearts, not just like words, fancy words on the website or on the wall. And then again, I go back to my connection with God. And so all those connections just allow for a beautiful recipe for somebody to find some success and to move forward and achieve great things in life. So it's very, very much not about me. It's about all those people that I've been able to connect to and be surrounded by.
Excellent. How do people contribute to the Hunger Code?
Best way is to buy a product. Even the purchase of a book actually donates 10 meals. The purchase of any product at MTN Ops donates a meal. And then, that's the best way. And
we
then,
need brain power.
I know.
Yeah.
Is this for
Right?
me?
That's for you.
Good.
And then on our
Yes.
site, we'll post the events that we hold, and people can come and sign up. We'll send out an Eventbrite every once in a while, and they get filled up pretty quick. But so just watch for those and come, and we'd love to have any
Very
involvement
nice.
that we can get.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Honor to have you.
Thank
Thanks
you
so
so
much,
much
Trevor.
for
It's very
sharing.
powerful,
Great
man.
to be here.
If any of you watching today have any doubts that your current CPA is not helping you take 100% advantage of the deductions you deserve and helping you stay compliant with the IRS, then don't hesitate to get involved with TaxHive today. You won't be disappointed.